The reason why a dictatorship or even a feudal type government is better is because a democratic republic is slow, right? That's why we give all military power to the executive branch so he can be quick with the military action. You don't need a whole. It's too many kids. It's too many cooks in the kitchen in Congress. It's too many cooks in the kitchen. It's way too many cooks in the kitchen. When you have a dictator, things move fast, so my nation can be strong. When you want to make a decision, we can move quick and be more nimble. You know, you deal with corporate, you're dealing with bureaucracy and timelines and whatnot. Usually, you're late to stuff. But yeah, so I would say, obviously, a nation with me as the dictator is the best option.
Minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour.
For at least the last decade, my mantra has been believe nothing, question everything, right? So when you ask me, was there something I believe? It was like, well, I would first need to believe something for me to unbelieve it, right? And I try not to enter a state of belief. I always try to stay in a state of curiosity, right?
Yeah.
And I know there's certain beliefs that we need to hold every day, right? Just for our own safety. Like I believe that a tiger is dangerous, right?
Yeah. And maybe things about morality.
Right.
Yeah. That's verified.
Right.
Maybe you have a code. Maybe you have a code of how you operate and what things are important to you. You know.
Right. But I mean, I've never been in the presence of a tiger before, right? But I've seen it on TV. You know, some people say, "Oh, just because you see it on TV, don't make it real." You gonna go mess with a tiger because you think it's not real after you just seen it on TV? Like, come on now, right? Mm-hmm. So it's certain things that are learned experiences that we are going to believe. But for the most part, I'm interested in somebody that's just going to, your word, just fascinate me, right? Who's going to fascinate me? Mm-hmm. Like, fascinate me, please. Like, that's where I'm at. Show me something new because I'm tired of everything.
I'm with you. I always say I don't believe anything. Like, and it's not in some aloof, dreamy, I don't know what's going on type of situation. I don't believe.
You know what I tried to believe?
If I attach myself to something, it's because I know.
Right.
I've learned. You know what I'm saying? I've been enlightened into that space. But I just don't walk around believing anything.
I tried to believe in communism. I tried. This is when I was low and I was a victim. I was like, and what I did was I said, I'm going to start with a PlayStation. How are we going to get a PlayStation to everyone?
To everyone?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then when my brain malfunctioned, I said, all right, this shit's stupid. Because if I can't get my PlayStation the day it come out, because you got some system of seniority and because that's how it's going to work. That's how all systems of socialism, communism work. The people closest to the power are going to get the biggest perks. You don't want socialism. You do not want socialism. You don't want communism. As one thing right now, if you came around and be like, Hotep, Jesus, you know one thing you believe is false? And I'd be like, what? You believe communism's bad. I'd be like, oh, you're a joke. The thing with communism is levels to it, right? I'm a communist in my household. But when I'm dealing with strangers, I'm a capitalist. You see, money represents trust or lack thereof, right? Yep. If I need you to do me a job, right? I need you to do something for me, and I pay you a lot of money. I'm trusting you to come through. If I'm paying you a lot of money, if I'm paying you a little bit of money, it means I don't trust you, right? Money represents trust. That's all it represents, and which in fact points to the fallibility of man. It points to our faults and shows that we are a faulty being. We are nothing near perfect. And there is corruption inherently within us. We are susceptible to corruption unless we rise above and create a culture which sort of extinguishes that from a very young age. You know, you need a very...
See, I have a very optimistic lens on humanity. as time goes on. You know, I have observed that in our observable history of, or documented history, that shit was fucked up. And it gets better and better and better over time. And I do see people becoming smarter, people becoming more empathetic, people, you know, a collective ascension of consciousness over time, right? I think things are fine. Things will balance out. The universe balances things out. It's just not always when we want it to be, right? Because cosmically, we're only here for a blip of time, you know?
Try this on for size. Everything's already in balance. We are exactly where we are supposed to be as an organism to reach where we're going.
I agree with that.
Everything as it should be.
I guess the framing of the universe corrects itself is for when people do feel
It's zeros and
something's unfair.
It's 0 and
know?
1. It's 0 and 1, right? 0 represents nothingness. 1 represents something, right? Life and death, the alpha and the omega, right? Positive and negative, up and down. It's this duality. So once you have life, you must have death, right? So if you have this
once you
entity
have
that
what we
comes
consider
into life,
Once we have what we consider life and consider death.
well, when the human being's born pure, good human, I believe it comes out pretty close to pure, right? Because humanity creates itself like AI.
Imagine we just built a super intelligent AI, right, that was no smarter than your average team of researchers at Stanford or at MIT. Well, electronic circuits function about 1 million times faster than biochemical ones. Okay, so this machine should think about 1 million times faster than the minds that built it. So you set it running for a week, and it will perform 20,000 years of human-level intellectual work, week after week after week. How could we even understand, much less constrain, a mind making this sort of progress?
You see what I'm saying? So it tells you a lot about an organism that its environment breeds what it is. So I believe because its environment comes into the world pure, its only example of life is the animal kingdom around it. And it's watching this and it's learning from this. So this is its most pure state. So I believe that towards the end of our existence, we're going to come back to that state of innocent perfection, or I should say not perfection, but connection with nature. That
Do you
wholeness
feel we're
again.
disconnected now?
Yes.
How so?
You know, you just take your average city slicker and bring him to the woods like my son, right? You take him out of soccer, feel a little bug lands on his head. He's like, bugs. It's like, you know, you're pampered. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Listen, I'm a city slicker my damn self, right? But I'm all right with that sort of disconnect. However, I feel like I'm extremely connected with nature, because when you really look at things, what's nature, what's not, right? How do we determine what's natural and what isn't? I'm asking both of y'all that. Sean.
I'm on the boat that I think everything is natural.
Yeah.
In terms of if we made it, it's along the same lines of everything is the way it's supposed to be, and we're on the certain path that we're supposed to be on.
Right.
That's the only way it could be. Is that it is what it is.
Yeah, that's if you zoom out. But when you zoom in, when I think of something like plastic, I wasn't supposed to be born.
But it was supposed to be, right? Wasn't it? It wasn't an accident.
Yeah.
When you zoom out.
Yeah.
But when you
Or
zoom in
zoom
and
in.
we look at its
Right.
existence,
Right. So
its existence is just evil.
situationally
evil.
not preferred.
You see it as evil, but I see it as it was very useful and helpful. And then we got to a point to where we realized,
Let me
better means.
rephrase myself.
Okay.
Chemical plastic. Because we had plastic before. Except the plastic was being made of hemp, which means the stuff was biodegradable.
Plastic made from hemp doesn't contribute to permanent pollution. Meanwhile, biodegradable hemp plastic can save the environment from toxins when made with biodegradable polymers. In the right environment, hemp plastic takes around 3 to 6 months to decompose. This is astonishing in comparison to conventional plastics. Hemp-based plastics can also be recycled indefinitely. While petroleum-based plastic can be recycled, because this type of plastic is chemical-laden, it is a toxic process.
Do you feel that the chemical plastic, because hemp is chemical as well, but the chemical that one may deem as unnatural or harmful to the environment, do you feel like that was made for malicious purposes?
It's got to follow the alpha and omega rule. We just talked about that, 0 to 1. If you put the shit there and it don't decompose, there's something wrong with it.
So let's take away the utility of plastic, right? Yeah. Or our ability to have have the problem fixed that plastic fixed for so many years.
Yeah.
Then what do we do?
What do you mean?
What do we do without plastic until we figured out a better plastic?
We don't need to figure out a better plastic. We had a better plastic. They outlawed it.
Why?
Because DuPont wanted to have a monopoly over plastic and other industries. DuPont is the one that lobbied with the government, going back to the problems with government. They lobbied to have hemp outlawed because you can make 9,000, don't give me the line, but 9,900 products, 99. It's like a whole bunch of stuff you can do with hemp. And they had it outlawed. People was running whole households. You could make clothes out of hemp. You could build houses out of hemp. Oh, you can do so much with it. People think hemp is something that you just, use for psychedelic purposes or something like that, right? No, this is a very useful plant. And the thing is, what makes hemp dangerous is how easily it grows. Doesn't need much care. And again, they hate that independence, so they try to come and squash. It's like, stop player hating, bro.
Yeah, it's so much nuance to everything, I feel like everything is all right. I think everything is fine. I think the planet we can't destroy it. We're not that dope. We're not that powerful, right? We could destroy ourselves. If we do, that's our fault.
I think we could destroy the planet.
How?
Or I should say, you could make it. You could change its state of climate, right?
We're doing that.
Right. But I mean, at an extreme, right? Like, what if we attack the moon? Like, this whole shit would be fucking flipped upside down.
We wouldn't do that.
But you just asked, like, could we destroy Earth? Like, technically, we could just wipe this whole shit out.
No, we could wipe us out. If every nuclear weapon that exists went off, we die, but the Earth is still here.
Right, exactly. That's why I said the only most we could do is alter its state, right? Its current state. That's the most thing we could do.
We'd wipe ourselves out.
We'd wipe ourselves out of the process. Correct. Exactly. That's the most we could do. Right. Yeah.
You know what's fucking crazy? Life will regenerate once we wiped ourselves out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Until, some extinction level event, we've had them already, and life regenerates in different forms.
You know what I was thinking about the other day? What if there's another planet out there and it's worse than this?
I don't see this as bad.
What if all the other planets have humans just like us, except it's like levels, it's like what if we're like a D-class planet? Right?
What would an A-class look like? Just using the imagination in your mind.
A-class is just like more dignified, organized, clean.
Okay, I fucks with that, but look at this. Let's go back to 1600s, right?
Okay.
How life was. Okay. Fucking sucked, right? There's no air conditioning, no cars, right?
Living to 40.
Live to 40, that's an old man, right? Babies died. Most babies died, right? Rape was courtship. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Humans was considered cattle. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. All right, 1700, 18, 19, 2000, where we at now? We have a grid system for our cities. We have transportation. People are treated kind of fair. It ain't perfect, but it's way better than then. Like, it seems to me that from what you're saying, that we're on our way to an A-class society. It just takes time. Or do you see it going to revert back to chaos?
I see us as being in a cycle, and the only thing that's being updated is technology.
Okay, so what cycle? What is the cycle? How does it look?
I mean, right now we're following the loop of ancient Greece.
Okay.
You know,
Explain.
the botched culture. What month is it? You know what month it is. All of that, you know, being shoved down our throat. You know, that's right at the tail end of Greece. We are, you know, the other thing is these nations, it's the same thing over and over again. What did you have when you were in ancient Rome? You had a democratic republic. What you got in America? You got a democratic republic.
To truly explain Rome's central institutions, though, let's start off with how the Senate was made up. First, Roman society was generally divided into different classes. Aside from slaves who didn't really have any say whatsoever in politics, Roman citizens were divided into super wealthy patricians and the plebeians, who were basically everyone who wasn't super rich, namely the working class. Patricians were generally members of noble families, and later on also successful businessmen and large landholders. And of course, for the purposes of this video, I'm saying businessmen here because, well, ancient Rome. Though the patricians were a minority of the population, they generally had the most say in Roman governments, making up the Senate as a whole, comprised of a varying number of patrici, from where we get the word patrician, who generally serve for life unless charged with a criminal offense.
You can call it what you want. You can call it a democracy. You can call it another type of republic. You can do whatever you want. You got a democratic republic.
What should it be?
A dictatorship.
Where does that work? Or is there any examples of that being a legit society where people are happy?
We can go to... So first we have to address work. What does work mean? Really, it's not about working. It's just what's better than a democratic republic is really what I'm posing, right? I'm saying dictatorship is better than a democratic republic.
Okay.
Okay.
Expand, please.
Yeah. First things first.
I Papa freaks all the honeys. I had to.
Let's go to the Kaiser. Before I get to that point, let's go to the Kaiser in Germany. Let's go to the Tsar of Russia. Right? These are two world powers that have to be eliminated. And what are they replaced by? In Russia, they were replaced by a democratic republic called the Duma. In Germany, they're replaced by, it's going to slip my mind. It'll come back to me later. It's the Cali weed. But in Germany, they've replaced the Weimar Republic. Thank you. They're replaced. It's called the Weimar Republic. In America, we call it the Weimar Republic. In Germany, W's a V. So they have these democratic republics. Well, what happens after you install these democratic republics in Soviet Russia, when you install them in post-Tsarist Russia, 1918, November Revolution, massive inflation. Currency ain't worth nothing. Money gone. Money go to shit. The people who were complaining about the dictator are pissed off and want the dictator back in power because the new shit they got is way worse than what they just had. It's the epitome of the grass is green on the other side of the street. So when we look at America, so now let me go to the second point, right? And this is a gem I'm gonna drop on. This is going in my book. The reason why a dictatorship or even a feudal type government is better is because a democratic republic is slow, right? That's why we give all military power to the executive branch so he can be quick with the military action. You don't need a whole. It's too many it's too many cooks in the kitchen in Congress. It's too many cooks in the kitchen. It's way too many cooks in the kitchen. When you have a dictator, things move fast, so my nation can be strong. When you want to make a decision, we can move quick and be more nimble. You know, you deal with corporate, you're dealing with bureaucracy and timelines and whatnot. Usually you're late to stuff. But yeah, so I would say, obviously a nation with me as the dictator is the best option.
I got you.
I get it, actually, because you're seeing you're seeing the efficiency and speed of a dictatorship or a kingship versus the maybe accuracy of democracy, like to make decisions that are representative of the people's desires.
Right.
If they're like appointed constituent, or the constituent appoints a representative who votes for them, but then there's so much arguing and BS that prevents anything from actually getting done. And you talk about the expense of getting things done. Like, they did that study where they built a bathroom in a park with the government money versus a contract money. And it was like 4 or 5 times more to get the same bathroom built, just because of the nature of how things, the bureaucracy, the red tape of it all. So I can see that. But then you also have to have a mechanism, I guess, something to eject a leader, because ultimately they say absolute power corrupts absolutely.
So the thing is,
bring your mic down just a little bit.
The thing is,
And bring it closer. Yeah.
the thing is, what you want is, you have the lords of the state. So each state will have a lord, and this person is the one elected by the people that represents the people. So if you live in New Jersey, you send your representative up, and he come kick it with me, and I'm the dictator. So we all sit down, and all 50 states, we come and we talk, and we all talk this out. But when that decision got to be made, ultimately it's my decision. There's no vote. But
Not from you or from the lords.
correct.
Because one advancement to your system could be where the lords vote to see who's the dictator.
So here is where the conversation becomes an 8-hour, 10-year conversation, right? You can play around with this stuff all day, right? But this is the path I'm trying to lead people on, is to understanding that type of government.
I hear you. I feel like, or it appears that we have that already when it matters. Or let's say if it matters for military speed, right? All right, so we have all of these cooks in the kitchen or chefs in the kitchen or whatever, right? For what? Checks and balances, bureaucracy, all of these negative, nasty words, right? And we're doing that to ensure that the right moves are made, and the right moves based on the collective vote of the people, correct? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Allegedly.
Okay, allegedly.
But the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Of course. But however, let's say an egregious, I think something that most people feel was wrong, was egregious, or an error in military operations was the war in Iraq.
In the early stages of military operations.
We went to war in Iraq because several powerful American men wanted to. Some of them thought it was vital, we had to. Others just wanted to project American power. But either way, here we are 18 years later. Nearly 10,000 Americans dead, over 200,000 Iraqis dead, over $1 trillion tax dollars spent. And the result? A Middle East that is less stable than ever, in part because of the US presence, and really because of it.
So that was what would be the actions of what one will call a dictator.
Yeah.
You know? So it appears that we still have dictator energy. We have communist energy. We have democratic, capitalistic energy. It's all here.
It's mixed.
It's all here.
It's mixed.
Yeah. So
at its core, it's communism, though. At its core, it's communism.
100%. I mean, a good, to me, the most disgusting display of communism or socialism was the bailout of the banks when Obama came in office.
That was disgusting.
It was disgusting. And the people that hate socialism were the ones who received it.
Just the thing is, that wasn't the first time that happened.
Yeah. But look at the hypocrisy in that, right? The people you hear about that's like, fuck this welfare shit, welfare state, socialist. These are socialists. They're the ones that received the biggest welfare handout.
Absolutely.
Nobody bats an eye.
Yeah.
Nothing matters.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Nothing matters. This is these people. We live in a society. It's a free nation.
Yeah.
Now, is there issues? Absolutely. Is there corruption? Because people are like, well, you're telling me there was no corruption in this last election? Yes, on both sides.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? However, we don't have Venezuela corruption. You know what I'm saying? There's no 90% landslide of a president over and over and over, right? every election cycle, whoever wins barely won. To me, that's fair. Yeah, everybody's going to try to cheat. They're both trying to cheat. They're both trying to win. The stakes are high. But it's not to an extent to where somebody's even getting 60%.
Right. But I mean, the thing is, the way our government is set up, you got military power sits at the executive branch. When we got problems, we take it to the judicial branch. And then you got the legislative branch, that's Congress. So, like, the thing is, you got all these people in Congress. Everybody's submitting legislation. Everybody's passing legislation. These bills is 2,000 pages long, 10,000 pages long, right? And all these things is getting passed. Like, all types of bills get passed all the time. We don't know about it, right? See, if you had a dictator, this is where it works in the people's favor. Because now he has to look at every single one of them fucking bills. So this is how you slow down the government from being tyrannical. Or you slow its growth to power. You know, we talked about power corrupts and absolute power corrupts. That whole situation. This is how you slow the government down. This is why a dictatorship is good for the person that's in power and the committee that's there and the people not
closest to him.
Because every time something get passed, he got work to do. And I know if I'm sitting in that spot, I'm not trying to pass a whole lot of bills.
If we have a dictator and there's no he rules with impunity, right? What's in it for him to do anything that's good for the people? Listen, let's go to Venezuela.
I don't believe you murder.
We literally have situations like that right now.
Your life's on the line.
We literally have Venezuela right now.
But the thing is, once you centralize the power into one man, you take him out and you just replace him with the next man. You could do that. That's why when you look at Rome, it went from one emperor to the next emperor, and they went through some dark times.
But if there's a strong one, he's gonna hold tight. He's gonna hold firm.
Yes, he is.
So the people suffer.
Usually the ones
unbelievable amounts.
The ones that last are the ones that do a good job, right? Like Caligula didn't last long, right? Did a terrible job. Just didn't last long. Famine broke out. He was just neglecting his duties as leader.
He's a strange puppy.
Yeah. So it depends on the leader, right? The people are going to suffer. But look how fast Rome turns around after the fall of Caligula. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to look at the bad. There was famine, yeah, and disease and the plague outbroke. But then after that, you see this meteoric rise of Rome, you know?
Yeah, I think
it works in the people's favor, law of averages over time. That's the other thing. Like, we always look at our lifetime. It's like, now what's going to happen 10,000 years from now, 1,000 years from now, 100 years from now? Like, let's think about that and set our children up.
I got you.
Think generationally. That's why China came up. You got to remember, when all this stuff was popping off around the world, China was a backwards country. They was agrarian. All they did was farm. And what they do, they got them damn factories. And they started pumping out shoes, man, and they ain't never looked back.
Gucci, Nike. But now, listen, my observation of where we are, the framework of this nation, I'm not mad at it. Because it was birthed out of a time when people that are like me, it was not fun at all, right? It was birthed out of a time when women had zero rights, right? It was, however, there was enough in it to keep shaking the trees till all this fruit start falling to where people did have some form of equality.
Yes.
There were some accountability, right?
Yeah.
Now, people perverse anything. What you said earlier is 100% true.
Yeah.
Human beings are fallible. Human beings are greedy. It makes sense. I get it. It doesn't upset me. It doesn't bother me, right? Because good always outlasts bad, or light outlasts dark, or things of that nature, right? That is one energy, just like love and hate. We were kind of talking about this earlier. It's one energy.
Yes, it is.
It's where it's at on that spectrum. How you feel about me now? You love me, okay? I do something you don't like. Now you hate me. It's the same energy.
Nobody hates you more than a person
that loves you,
that used to love you.
Correct.
And nobody loves you like somebody that used to hate you.
But listen, that love and hate. Do you hate me, or are you not? Love me, but you're not dealing with this discomfort the right way. So let me hear me out real quick about the path direction of where we're at right now. we live in a special place. There's no way that no one can look at us and say we're not, right? We live in a place in which the people that were treated the worst, who had huge contributions in the genesis of this nation, are thriving, you know? And we're allegedly a small percentage of the population, but producing more than any people
Can I
like
ask you a
us.
question?
Yeah, go for it.
When have we stopped thriving?
Excuse me?
When have we stopped thriving?
We had a period of a halt to
Stagnation?
that, a stagnation
Can
around.
you tell me
I'll tell you when.
When? wanna see what you
Segregation.
say. Segregation?
Segregation.
I disagree.
Or so Black Wall Street.
Integration.
We had. That's what I mean. The end of segregation. Integration.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
we're
All
on
right. So we say the
wavelength.
same
Yeah,
thing. Okay.
yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, it stopped.
That
But
was the moment
But
it
it's back. But it's back popping now. You know what I mean?
Right.
In a big way.
Yes,
And it's
yes.
getting bigger and bigger. So it's just a matter of time to where people get better over time.
Yeah.
We see it, you know. And I always talk about this. When we were under the condition of servitude, we didn't get freedom because we wanted it. We got freedom because white folks like, yo, this guy, what up?
You hurting my heart right now.
Tell me why.
We wasn't slaves, dog.
There was no black slaves.
That's one of those topics to me. Like
Wait,
when people say
tell
we
me
were
this.
slaves, it just eats me alive.
So are you saying that there were no black slaves?
Nope, that's not what I'm saying.
What are you saying?
What I'm saying is it was black slave owners, and we need to tell that story too.
Were they? In mass? How what kind of percentage versus black versus white slave owners here in the United States?
I don't know. I ain't gonna sit up here and act like I know, but I don't know. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
If we
I
go
don't
on
know.
sheer numbers of how many black people versus white people are here, it couldn't have been that many. I'm not denying that there wasn't. Sure there were. And
Thousands.
Listen, and I'm not
I'll say thousands.
And I'm not
confirmed.
even. And listen.
And this is, I believe there were thousands confirmed just within the region. I want to say in the region, Louisiana, there were thousands of black slave owners down there. I want to say.
I mean, even in Haiti, we
But you got to remember, like, we wasn't, when you say slave owner, right? I'm not saying they were slavers. What I'm saying is, as a business designation on paper, they were practicing the business of slavery. Many of them were purchasing relatives. You had some people, here's the thing about slavery that people don't talk about. Slaves were allowed to be entrepreneurs. You'd had many slaves where the slave owner would invest in their businesses. They would encourage them to go be free. They'd become co-partners in businesses. You got to remember, the people was not, if we was indigenous, who knows how to till the land? They needed us. You know what I'm saying? And I know there were pockets of, like, even when you look and you read the slave manuals tell you not to beat your slave that much.
So are you saying that during the time of slavery in the United States, it was not this dark picture that was painted throughout history?
It's not as dark as they paint it. They're taking like micro spots, like where it
why
was
did it
real
change?
bad. What?
Why isn't it still like that?
Why is what still like that?
Why do we not still have slavery if it wasn't as bad?
Why do we not have slavery?
Well, why would there need to be a change?
First of all, can I say this?
You can. This is a safe space. Say what's on your heart.
Depending on how you practicing your slavery, let's call it this, because people are gonna freak out. Let's call it an internship.
No, let's call it slavery. Let's call it what it was.
I'm not opposed to it. If you practice it properly, all the beating and I own you and all of that stuff, I'm not with that.
So what is the definition of slavery that you're okay with?
It's sort of like having an intern. Imagine a personal assistant. Like, is a personal assistant technically your slave? Personal assistant. It just get paid really well.
I guess the big distinction to be made.
Though.
The big distinction to be made is the optionality of the situation.
Then that's the nature of slavery.
Correct. The
Right.
optionality of it. That's where it becomes inhumane.
Yeah.
Yes. Bingo.
No, I mean I think that's the
That
one.
exactly
Yeah.
it. That is exactly
Because there may be
That's not slavery though.
right. No, that's what
Right.
I'm saying.
That's a job.
That's where I'm getting at is that
But what I'm
for someone
trying
who's
to
an
say is-
intern, for someone who's an intern here, or like who comes and works with us, and they're not doing it for money. There's some exchange happening that they feel was better than money.
And they still come and go as they please.
You here's what I'm saying is when the whole picture's not painted, you don't get it. You got some slave owners, they'll come to the market, buy a slave, bring him to the house and be like, you could go.
And where does he go?
He come right back.
Okay. Okay.
It's 1800s.
Okay.
Where you going?
Okay,
It's
but-
woods that way. I got food. I got bed. You dress nicer than my neighbor.
So maybe I don't understand what you're saying right now.
What
are you saying?
What I'm
are
saying
you
is-
saying that slavery in the United States when it existed was
Yeah.
okay, and you would
No, it's not okay.
okay,
I'm not saying it's okay because owning somebody is not cool.
okay,
That's not cool. What I'm saying is the relationship between slave and slave owner wasn't like how Hollywood tries to paint it on that screen. And that's not forgiving the slave owners because there's some slave owners. And what you had was the slave owners that beat people were actually the really ones that are bad at it. They were bad at being a slave owner.
Well, here's the thing.
Look at the relationship between when we watched Django, right? And he hugged his master. How do you get that human love without treating another human like a human?
Stockholm syndrome.
There was a lot of Stockholm syndrome. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Listen, when a person is in a desolate situation, they see no way out. This monster is their source of food,
Yes.
of everything.
Yes.
They're gonna love him.
Yes.
They've seen their mother, their father, their grandparents, their brothers die here on this plantation.
Right.
This is it for them. So
Yes.
yeah, that man is God.
Yes.
They was even taught that. Look,
So
hold on. Peep this.
hold on, wait. No, let me finish.
Nah, 'cause I feel like
I want to cut you
feel
off. I
like-
want to cut you off right
All
there.
Go for it.
So tell that, Mike. Don't hit me on the screen with the, oh, I was whooping and I was raping your wife. No, hit me with the, you hit us with Stockholm syndrome and made us love being owned.
Okay.
Hit me with that.
Okay, hold on.
Give me that all day, because that's truth.
Love being on, no. They seen no outcome.
Correct.
No positive outcome. And the raping, the whipping, all of that shit happened.
It
That
did.
was a sign of dominance. Like, I'm over you. This is like, hold on, an inferior
What percentage
person.
of it was that?
I don't know. But do you feel
This is
but
what I'm
do you- do
saying.
you
We
know?
gotta
But do you
dive
know?
into that.
Do you know
What?
the percentage of
It was low,
How do you know that though?
based upon the research that Thaddeus Russell put together.
Who's Thaddeus Russell?
Thaddeus Russell is a historian. He wrote Renegade History of the United States of America. Tremendous work of work.
What was all right? Here's the thing. All right, so if it was not that bad, it would still be in practice because it was great for the economy.
It is
There
still
was
in
a
practice.
there was
It's
no.
called human trafficking.
I mean, yeah,
they
they started that
doing
with
this
us.
shit.
It started with Africans being trafficked from West Africa.
You know how many black women go missing every year?
I
Out of
don't.
the same region, out of Virginia. Go look at the number of black women. It seems like it's the same number. They
Look,
snatching.
that's an issue. I don't know much about,
Shit.
but that's an issue. I'm
When-
not. I'm
when
not. I'm
after
not.
we
I'm
bomb-
not negating that.
Yeah.
but we're still talking about the condition of slavery that once existed.
The-
What
here's-
I'm asking is this. What I'm proposing is this. If it wasn't that bad, and if the numbers of egregious crimes were low,
Yeah.
it would still be here.
here in America.
Yes. In the same fashion and form. Look, this was free labor, creating crops that was free to
Let's
grow.
talk about
Do you
why
know-
the slaves were free. Okay, let's put that into context before we even continue the
But
conversation.
okay, let's talk about it. But let's not leave out the fact that because I know where you're going, and you're right.
You don't
about-
know where I'm going.
I do.
No, you don't.
Okay, well,
I
go for
promise
it.
you don't.
Go for it.
Tell me where I'm going.
No, go for it. I don't know where you're going.
Russia had just abolished slavery.
There are many parallels between United States history and Russian history. In 1861, the same year that the Civil War began in the United States, 2 years before the Emancipation Proclamation, The Emperor of Russia, Alexander II, issued a decree that canceled the institution of Russian serfdom. Like the United States before industrialization, Russia was a primarily agrarian country, and its agricultural peasantry constituted between 40 and 50% of the population of the whole country. The serfs were not imported from abroad like slaves in the United States were. Russian serfs were ethnically Russian. In fact, most of the ethnically Russian population was enslaved under the imperial house of Romanov.
Abraham Lincoln was surrounded by the English and the French, North and South. The Navy of England or Britain or whatever you want to call it was going to set up a blockade. The States was done. You know who helped us? Russia. Mm-hmm. The reason why the slaves were free was because Lincoln wanted to send a gesture to Russia and say, we're on the same page as you.
And he also wanted help fighting. He wanted black soldiers.
He needed
to fight.
Russia. And Russia came over. They sent because Russia was a superpower. Russia came over here and said, no, y'all not about to block their imports and exports because we will destroy your little battleships. Okay? And they had free waters. And what happened? They won the war.
Russia played a significant role in supporting the Union cause. And after doing some research, I found that indeed they did. And it revolved around a visit their navies made to both the East and West Coast during 1863, which did have a profound effect in some ways on the outcome of the war. Now, some backdrop. I think this is an important story because many people think of the Civil War as just an internal struggle, which really didn't impact the rest of the world. That was far from the case. It did have an enormous impact on the rest of the world, and many nations throughout the world were very concerned about the outcome of the Civil War, and indeed did try to influence it to varying degrees. One of those nations was Russia.
Right? The North won the war. The North won the war and had a payback debt, and one of the debts was to buy back Alaska from Russia because he was like,
question for you. Why did Russia abolish slavery?
Russia abolished slavery because of pressure. There was a tremendous amount of pressure. This is actually
from whom?
Leading up to a very communist sort of uprising of the workers
and of their people.
Yeah, of their people. Yeah,
so their people wanted slavery to be abolished in Russia.
Yeah, but it was also like sort of like cleaning up the image of the country. Also, like you got to pay attention to that.
If it's not that bad, there's nothing to clean up.
No, when you say that bad, you have to put it next to something, right? Not that bad in relation to what? In relation to roots. In relation to every slave movie they give
there
us
was no roots
every
back then,
single
though. I'm
year.
saying back then. Let's talk about then. What was the catalyst for Russia to abolish slavery? Was it their people? Was the lower caste system of their people saying like, look, this,
I'll get back to you on that.
What would you gather would have been a reason that their lower class wanted it abolished? Applying pressure.
I think it makes more sense to just operate in a capitalist sense. It's probably more profitable for all parties.
Poor people knew that? They had insight on capitalism?
No, I think the rulers did. I think the rulers looked at it as being more profitable. It kind of makes more sense to have people like...
Well, but that would be an excellent tenet of capitalism to have employees working for free. Free labor?
Yeah, but you kind of...
You're increasing your margins like a mother.
It's not competitive. It's not competitive. You know, it's kind of like saying I'm going to treat my employees bad when Facebook down the street is like giving out cars and BMWs to the employees, right? Like it's kind of different. You can't compete in the job market when your corporation gives out better jobs, right? And you treat your employees better. There's a reason why people are going to come work for you and not work for your competitor because they like your environment. It's probably more chill. They don't got to wear a suit and, you know. So these things are usually settled by the market and not so much by like, you know, people's emotions so much. But
I mean, the abolishment of slavery was very disruptive to
it was very much
economies.
it was pressure on the czar because he's Christian and all of that. It was a lot of pressure, but I want to get more details.
But here's the thing: I just want to understand
Yeah.
your position on slavery in those times, right?
Here's what I'm saying.
Okay.
If you compare what the evidence says to what they give us out of Hollywood, it's not the same picture. It's not the same movie.
But you can coexist with that being true, what you're saying, and it still having been wrong as a practice and needing to be done away with.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Why is there a slave movie every year?
It's not. Is it? I don't pay attention to slave movies, period. So I don't know. Okay, let's. Back
Isn't there every type of movie every year?
Let's back it up.
I'm just saying, like
it's
in
not. Yeah, it is.
Most movies.
It is.
There's every type of movie.
It is correct.
People watch it.
Correct.
All right, but let's talk about slavery. I mean, let's talk about Hollywood. Hollywood is just a tool. All right, it's a tool for whoever has the means to. It's a gun, and whoever has the bullet to put into Hollywood. That's what is coming out now. Let's go back to the first real movie of America. What was it?
The first real movie?
The big blockbuster, the first blockbuster of the United States.
Oh man, I can't remember.
Gone with the Wind?
No, Birth of a Nation. And it depicted.
Oh, you going?
It depicted.
Oh, that's later.
Blacks.
Okay, fine. All right, yeah. You
being
go there.
savages, raping white women. There were scenes where a white woman rather jump off of a mountain to her death than to be ravished by this black man. When we know that's not true at all, right? So it depicted us. It was helping tell a narrative that we were animals, that we were savages, and we needed to be civilized and come here and work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Look, they were giving them jobs, yada, yada, yada. So that's not Hollywood. That's whoever had the finances and the money and the influence to inject that poison in the mechanism of Hollywood.
Yeah.
You feel me? So now, is there agendas now with George Floyd hitting the news 5 months after it happened or whatever? Yeah. Absolutely. But that doesn't take away things really happening, right? It doesn't.
But let's tell what happened. Give me a movie where there's a black slave owner. If it was one, let me get that one. Well, I can't get that one. I can't get that one. You always want to paint my people as if you was kicking their ass. We got the holiday coming around, Juneteenth. We celebrating the white man the day he stopped kicking our ass, allegedly, right? That's everything about us is in juxtaposition to struggle. Even when you say Independence Day, it's in juxtaposition to struggle. What kind of holiday is that?
Okay, I want to align with you because I think we are in alignment. Yeah. But I think the message is getting jumbled somewhere.
Is it?
I think so, and I could be wrong.
Okay.
I do not accept I do not accept the narrative that I am of the lineage of slavery. Personally.
Bingo.
Personally, okay?
Right.
I am, through my actions, writing my history as we speak.
Okay.
And have been.
Yes.
Okay. So I don't.
You're doing a damn good job, by the way.
Appreciate you. You as well. You're a gentleman and a scholar. I do not celebrate. I do not discuss. Me and my family don't talk about slavery.
Right.
My son, when he was in the 7th grade, dropped his history book on my desk. He said, "This is stupid."
Yeah.
So why you say that? He said, "Because they try to teach that we come from, like, our history started slavery." I was like, "Son, you know what's up." Like, and he was like, he had the foresight to be like, "Yeah, I know what's up, but my classmates don't."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And what this false narrative is bad for white people. It's bad for Hispanic people. It's bad for Middle Eastern people. It's bad for the world. The world.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
So I don't hold on to slavery. Right. I don't give a fuck about that shit.
Yeah.
It's not me. You know what I'm saying? I come from the lineage of great conquestors, of great leadership, economic. Listen, the Ten Commandments of the world, the Mansa Musas of the world.
Where's the Mansa movie?
Exactly.
Where's the Mansa movie?
We'll get to that. I want to get to that. These are the people who, kings that their legacy was bringing prosperity to their nations, not war, not celebrated for being violent. and
Remember
tyrannical.
what Michael Jackson said. Remember the time was supposed to be a movie. The music video, Remember the Time, was supposed to be a movie. And he said nobody would back it.
Listen, man, rest in peace to that angel called Michael Jackson. He was murdered. And people don't even know that. There was a murder trial. People don't know that. There's people that I know that was spoke and testified at the trial. YouTube it. So, and they told me the whole story, right?
Mike was an angel.
He was an angel, and he was a beacon of light who they tried these allegations of him molesting children. Let's walk this down. Let's walk down a common sense path, right? So he had a thing that everyone thought was weird, that he invited children to his home. This particular home, we're talking of Neverland Ranch, right? Now, the children that he was inviting to Neverland Ranch, which is a big amusement park, these were children that were terminally ill, right? They were dying. Okay? Let's talk on that. If you are interested sexually in children, why dying kids? Who does that? It's weird. Anyway, now this facility, Neverland Ranch, is not it's not some mansion. It's an amusement park,
right?
That's staffed at all times. Okay. Right. Now, at the time of his death, he was in some financial hardships, right? And he owed a lot of people money that worked for him. Everybody spoke on the situations, and no one had nothing negative to say about this man. Right. And he owed them money.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like, I'm cashing you out, say the right thing about me. No, he died owing me money, right? So nobody's seeing anything, right? Nothing. Anyway, the real story is he owned so many people's publishing. People need money, they sell their publishing for big chunks of money.
Elvis.
Sony ATV was his company. People didn't know that. I didn't know that, right?
Yeah.
And he owned Elvis, Beatles, Eminem, you name it. He owned so many people, like damn everybody. And they were trying to get that from him by trying to break him with all of these cases, like throwing these allegations.
Because it was in the contract.
Right, so he would never sell. He
Right.
did not sell.
Right.
They got it in the contract for at the time of his death.
If he died within a certain time period.
And they achieved that. They murdered him.
Yeah.
For all that. That's so many billions of dollars. You know what I'm saying? So it's egregious. And sing and dance. That's it. They don't want a black person to reach a level of prominence and power having economic power and influence with people's eyes and ears and hearts, right? And it's not just when a black person is effective communicating to black people.
You think it's as exclusive to black?
Well, I'm talking about black because I'm black, and this is what I pay attention to. I'm sure it's not exclusive to black. Right?
Okay, I was about to say.
I'm certain. It's not about race.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But we happen to have this construct of race that's kind of real.
Yes, it is.
So I'm talking about that. Now, he was effective with white people, with Hispanic people, with black people, with Asian people. Everybody loved Michael, and that's when it's a threat. Get him out of here. You know what I'm saying? So that's when, if you look at any of our leaders that were murdered, it was when everyone started listening to them, Malcolm X included. You know what I mean? So that is something that we should all talk about. Why not? Because what's happening is bad for America, not just black people. You know what I'm saying? And if black people are in a bad situation in this country, that's bad for everybody.
Yeah.
If you have a neighbor that's black, that's angry, that's fucked up, and he do something to you, we have a lot of power, a lot of energy, and that energy can be very destructive.
Yeah.
We don't want that. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants that. No. So it's in the country's best interest. But here's the thing, though.
The hood's a fucked up place,
over time, things will be better. I see it. I have a lot of...
The hood needs a lot of investment.
It does. It does. And
it needs a lot of investment, but aside from the investment, and it needs centers, right? Centers for different things. But aside from that, it needs staff. It needs people that are going to spend time with kids. It's really what it needs.
Yeah.
Man.
Well,
because there's a lot of parents, and like for example, right? Like when we look at our current welfare system, it's stupid. If I was to give people checks, you're going to have to come and sign up for a course and learn some relevant skills to be marketable in here in the economy. I'm not going to give you a check just because you got knocked up. No siree do ba. I wouldn't do that. I would set up, job programs and really give people like real marketable positions,
I'm not mad at that.
and then trade like look, you can live here for 2 years free while you go get this education, while you go learn this trade.
I'm with that.
That's the type of thing I would do. It'd have to be incentive wise. That's why I would say the market always kind of fixes things. You don't have to play with it too much, and you can still help people.
Is the root of your, just going back to the slavery topic, is the root of your dissatisfaction with the narrative the thought that it provides a backdrop for how Black people consider themselves today? Is that the attached thread?
It's a depiction of inferiority to say, look what we did to these people. When you look at the Holocaust, those people were murdered. They were killed. But Black people, we were turned into somebody's bitch. That's different. When you start painting that narrative with my likeness, it's not cool. China don't play with that likeness. Before the movies come over there, you seen what they did to that Black Panther cover.
Yep.
They say, you better put a mask on this fool. They don't play with that projection screen. It seems like Black people, we just let our likeness just go anywhere. You know what I'm saying?
Because we don't have power here yet. Or the
What
ones
did
that
they
are
do?
in position are not brave enough. I'm going to give you an example. When Muhammad Ali, what he went through in his career when he refused to go fight in Vietnam, right, to be drafted, he was not a millionaire. His biggest fights was like $1 million. You know what I'm saying? So, but he said, listen, a Viet Cong never called me nigga, so I'm not going over there killing them.
Right.
I'm not at, you don't have to fight, just go do exhibitions. If I go over there, I'm showing that I'm co-signing this war. I think it's cool for people to do, and I'm not doing that.
Right.
I'd rather you strip me from my title, put me in prison, put me up against a gunfire. I'll die.
Yeah.
So he's a man. He stood up with
Yeah.
principle, right? See, our entertainers now and athletes, you remember when the LA Clippers owner said the nigga, this, that, and the third, whatever, and the players,
They suited that up same night.
They
had called
turned
a
their
team
jerseys
meeting.
inside out like that's a protest.
Yeah.
But you still playing for massa.
They showed up the same
You know what I'm
night.
saying? And they make millions, way more than Muhammad Ali ever made. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's a difference in character. You know what I mean? So we don't have people, and listen, I can't even say that I'm mad at those guys. They're not from my cloth, right? But they're doing self-preservation for themselves.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're wrong.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But, if you are taking a bird's eye view and observing the whole thing, it would have been dope for them to be like, I'm not playing.
Yeah.
Fuck this
Correct.
jersey. You know what I'm saying? Listen, Colin Kaepernick, he stood on what he felt, what he
Right.
believed,
Yeah.
right? Things is going to be rough for a hot second, but things will get better.
Yeah.
When you stand firm in your truth and you are making the right moves based on the tenets of love, like all of the characteristics of love, when the dust settles, you're still standing strong. But people don't have that awareness, that self-awareness, or that belief in something so beautiful is so strong. Something so supple as love is so powerful. When you look at a canyon created by water, you know what I'm saying? It takes time. So things like love and truth and honesty.
That's what I tell people, man. When people ask me, how you deal with people, I just say lead with love. Every action you do, lead with love. If you about to send an email to somebody at work, lead with love. You could whoop somebody's ass with love.
Yeah, because when you're using force, look, I've been a person that have been done wrong.
Yeah.
Like objectively, nobody could say that this person didn't fuck me over.
Yeah.
And I've dished out retribution, and I became way more wrong than them.
Yeah.
I learned that over time the hard way.
Right.
So the best now, do me wrong now, it hurts. I want to say this and say that and do this and do that. Yeah. But I even, there's times I'll call friends of mine, like, yo, I want to fucking XYZ. I'll talk it.
Yeah.
They're like, just chill out. No, I ain't doing it. I'm just saying I want to, though.
Yeah.
Don't do nothing. Stay in my space. these people crumble. They unravel themselves. You know what I'm saying?
What? You know what happened to me, yo? I had a friend I found out stole $3,000 from me a couple of years back. Very close friend. And at first I was in shock. I didn't want to believe it. Then I was in a stage of anger and hurt and sadness. And one day I healed myself. My homie pulled up, because this friend was a rapper or is a rapper or whatever. And one of my friends. And one of my friends pulled up an old video from back in the day where we was there rapping and he was there, and it was a freestyle on YouTube and I know all the words. And it's the same dude who stole money from me. I sat there and I rapped along to his words on YouTube and relived the moment. Like, that moment happened. I felt good in that moment. That was a beautiful time period. It makes me feel good in hindsight. And really what happened was that moment of love healed me. Our conflicts, nobody feels hate. Like, if I go, yo, I hate you, Mike, you not gonna feel it. I'ma feel it because I'm the one that harbors that emotion. So I never want to harbor that type of emotion towards anything on this planet. Instead, learn to love it. And then through that, you find resolve and understanding. Like the other day, I tweeted out, I said, once you understand the United States of America, it's really hard to be angry.
Yeah, I agree with you. I want to end it on this.
Okay.
I really appreciate you being here, bro.
No, I appreciate you, yo.
We do this all night, but we got things to do.
Yeah.
But let's create a scenario, because as you were saying these things, I can visualize this. But someone saying, "I hate you."
Yes.
Fuck you. I hate you.
Yes.
Okay. I've been growing, and my understanding have been increasing of situations of why people feel like this or say certain things, express certain things. I'm understanding their communication better. And I have some more awareness to not, if they are harboring negative feelings and emotions towards me and they're giving it to me, to not make it worse or to not make it real.
Yes.
Right? So you're giving me this, what you claim is hate, but you can't give me that if you don't love me and care about me. I've done something.
Okay, so I wanted to touch on this before.
I've done
Remind me to
okay.
tell you about that.
I've done something to really hurt you, right? Now, or you in your mind, I've done something to really hurt you. So it's my job to receive that and not be emotional about it, to be very patient with your expression and communication, me process it in the best way possible. And if I did do something to offend you, atone. If I didn't, state my case. So you see that your hatred is unfounded, or these negative feelings are unfounded.
Yeah.
You know, and just give it back to you, because it's all love.
Right.
Hate and love is the same energy. It's just where it's out on the spectrum.
Right.
The frequency spectrum, right? So just like our thoughts are real as real. Yeah. It's a real, tangible, measurable thing.
Yeah.
So that
energy. This table needed a thought to exist.
100%. Yeah, exactly. It starts with a thought. The thought is a seed to everything in the physical universe. Yeah. And a thought is physical as well, which is beautiful.
So what I was going to say is, in my first book, Dominate Twitter, this is my avant-garde marketing work here. This book, so people are like, yo, you got a college degree? I'm like, nah, but my book is in college curriculum. They teach my shit in psychology, okay? Basically what you have is, in physics, you have something called inertia, which means it's easier to move something that's already in motion than it is to move something that is not in motion already, right? And that's lending to what you were talking about, right? So in my book, I basically say it's much better to have somebody damn near hate you than it is for them to feel no way about you at all. Because it's much harder for me to get you to like me if you don't care either way about me than if you hate me. If you hate me, that means you care about me. You care. For some reason, I am in your world and I am a care, which means I can bring you to the other side. But you first have to be able to pierce that individual, right? If I can make you feel any type of way, even if it's just a question, even if it's just curiosity, right? I need to evoke an emotion, and we all do this in sales and persuasion. I need to evoke an emotion. But if I come and I do a podcast with Mike Rashid and I don't evoke emotions from people, I didn't do my job. What is the difference between us and everything else? That emotional facility, that emotional faculty of the human being drives us. It is the root of evil. They say money's the root of evil. No, emotions are the root of evil. I'm gonna tell you where it started from. And Adam and Eve's story was close. It started from the first time a girl cheated on him. I think that's where evil was born. I think when the first man that got cheated on by his woman turned into an evil son of a bitch, and that's how evil was born. Because ain't nothing more hurt than a hurt man.
On that note, thank you, bro. We're going to do this again, run it back.
Absolutely.
We got so much more to talk about. We didn't even scratch the surface yet. But where can they find you at?
Go to YouTube.
Hotep Jesus.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Subscribe to my channel.
And when is Hotep?
HotepCon, August 11th through 13th. Discount code KING. And get your discount. Come hang out with us, man. It's going to be a great time. We got Celebrity Chef Mark coming out. 5-course food tasting. 3-night hotel stay. All inclusive. We got some of the best minds in crypto coming out. We got the best minds in politics coming out. It's going to be a real grand time, man. Coupon code KING.
It's in Vegas, right?
HotepNation.com. That's in Las Vegas at the Ahern Hotel. Man. Go to HotepNation.com and get your tickets.
Your body.
Peace.